Samsung and Huawei may be heading in very different directions with their tri-folding phones, yet putting their newest models side by side still gives us a fascinating look at how each company imagines the future of foldable tech, especially since most people will never actually get the chance to see both devices on the same store shelf. Samsung's Galaxy Z Trifold is built with the clear intention of bringing this form factor into the global mainstream, while Huawei's Mate XTS Ultimate stays closer to home as a China-focused showcase that prioritizes bold engineering even if it comes with compromises. And once you start looking at the hardware, those differences become immediately obvious. The Galaxy Z Trifold is slightly thicker than the Mate XTS when opened up, and it weighs about 11 grams more, although when both devices are folded the size difference becomes almost irrelevant. But before we get started, hey guys, welcome to ZaidiEsTech. You are here with Zaidi, and today we will have a complete comparison of the double-hinge smartphones, the Samsung Galaxy Z Trifold and the Huawei Mate XTS. So let's dive in. Samsung relies on titanium for its hinge, whereas Huawei uses ultra-high strength steel, and the distinction continues with durability since the Trifold carries an IP48 rating, while the Mate XTS Ultimate has no official ingress protection at all. The real divergence, however, comes from how people will actually handle and unfold these devices. Samsung uses an inward-folding G-shaped mechanism that opens twice from the right, requiring the need for a dedicated cover display, and the phone even uses strong alerts and haptic cues to stop you from folding things in the wrong order. Huawei takes the opposite route with a Z-shaped design that leaves a portion of the softer inner display exposed so that it doubles as the cover screen, giving you more flexibility and letting you treat it like a conventional foldable with two facing panels. Although that design also raises obvious durability questions, these different mechanisms shape the display experience as well. The Trifold gives you a bright and sharp 6.5-inch dedicated cover screen that looks a lot like the one on the Galaxy Z Fold 7, while the inner display unfolds into a 10-inch dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2X panel running at 120 Hz, but it isn't quite as sharp as the cover screen or the main screen of the Fold 7 for that matter. Samsung has also reinforced the main panel with a shock-absorbing layer, which would give it better long-term resilience. Huawei counters with a slightly larger 10.2-inch OLED panel that pushes higher peak brightness and pixel density, although it tops out at 90 Hz. Because there's no true outer display, you end up using a third of the inner screen as your cover screen, which is convenient on paper, but places everyday wear and tear directly on the more delicate folding surface. Still, both phones unlock a massive tablet-like canvas that enhances multitasking, gaming, content, and creative work. Performance is where the two devices split completely. Samsung benefits enormously from its global scale and long-standing relationship with Qualcomm, powering the Galaxy Z Trifold with the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy built on a 3nm process. It's not Qualcomm's absolute newest release, but it's still one of the strongest chipsets available with an octa-core CPU, the Adreno 830 GPU capable of hardware-accelerated ray tracing, and a Hexagon NPU that helps drive AI features across the system. Paired with 16 GB of LPDDR5X RAM and up to 1 TB of fast 4 storage, the Galaxy Z Trifold is simply built to handle heavy workloads without hesitation. Huawei, on the other hand, restricted from using Qualcomm's latest hardware, ships the Mate XTS Ultimate with its in-house Kirin 9020 chip built on a 7nm process, which is perfectly fine for general usage, but firmly mid-range in comparison. Everyday tasks and some light gaming are no problem, but when you push both devices side by side, Samsung's advantage becomes unquestionable. That performance advantage continues into the software. The Galaxy Z Trifold launches with One UI 8 on Android 16, a familiar environment already seen on Samsung's 2025 lineup, but further optimized for larger, more complex displays. You get Samsung's Now Bar and Now Brief AI-driven elements, improved split-screen flexibility that can go as wide as a 90:10 ratio, a better quick share system, polished transitions, and a new accessibility suite. Samsung has also introduced a standalone DeX mode that creates a desktop-style setup with up to 4 workspaces and multiple apps per space, and the phone handles 3 portrait-oriented apps side by side in multi-window. Add Gemini Live integration, dynamic UI adjustments, and Samsung's full Galaxy AI suite, and the software becomes a major selling point, especially paired with 7 years of OS and security updates. HarmonyOS 5.1 on the Mate XTS brings its own strengths with a PC-like office environment, a 3-pane layout, smooth switching between screen configurations, and super transfer station for cross-device workflows, along with a capable built-in assistant. But the lack of Google Play services and Huawei's limited global ecosystem inevitably restrict the experience for most international users. The camera systems follow a similar pattern of mixed strengths. Samsung gives the trifold a larger, higher-resolution 200-megapixel main sensor, although Huawei retains the advantage of variable aperture, and then Huawei's ultra-wide and telephoto sensors offer higher resolution and greater optical zoom. Samsung includes 10-megapixel selfie cameras on both its outer and inner screens, while Huawei only has an 8-megapixel unit on the inner display. When it comes to video, Samsung delivers 8K at 30 frames per second and 4K at 60 frames per second, while Huawei tops out at 4K at 60 and 4K at 30 frames per second on the front camera. The real difference becomes more apparent in software, since One UI's AI-powered editing tools remain more advanced and polished than the features built into HarmonyOS. Huawei does gain ground once batteries enter the discussion. Both phones carry a 5,600 mAh capacity, but Huawei supports much faster charging speeds with 66-watt wired and 50-watt wireless charging compared to Samsung's 45-watt and 15-watt respectively, and Huawei also uses a silicon carbon battery that should handle power delivery efficiently. Even so, Samsung's 3nm chipset and One UI optimizations could give the Galaxy Z trifold an edge in real-world endurance. Availability and pricing tell another story altogether. The Galaxy Z trifold may be the more reasonably priced of the two in its category, but its rollout begins with a limited launch in Korea on December 12, 2025, before expanding to select markets like China and Taiwan toward the end of the year, and eventually reaching the United States in early 2026. On the other hand, Huawei's Mate XTS Ultimate stays primarily within China, with a more recent appearance in the UAE, and any broader international release seems unlikely given its hardware limitations and lack of Google services. When you take everything into account, the Galaxy Z trifold stands out as the more refined and future-ready trifolding smartphone, backed by Samsung's global reach, strong logistics, and consistent software support. The company already holds about a fifth of worldwide smartphone shipments as of Q2 of 2025, and its ability to scale, market, and distribute new form factors gives the Z trifold a far better shot at reaching mainstream status than any competitor. The Mate XTS Ultimate, meanwhile, is an impressive experiment with a flexible design, a beautiful display, and extremely fast charging. But its exposed screen, mid-range processor, and software limitations keep it squarely in enthusiast territory rather than posing a real threat to Samsung's broader ambitions. In the end, the long-term future of trifolding smartphones depends heavily on how widely brands can push availability and how they justify pricing that reaches 2.5 to 3 times that of a premium slab phone, especially in a market where only a small segment is willing to spend that kind of money. Buyers will continue to hesitate until durability improves and companies begin offering longer standard warranties to create real confidence. The form factor is evolving at a steady pace, and while it may take another 3 to 5 years before trifoldables start looking like mainstream alternatives rather than niche experiments, devices like the Galaxy Z trifold and the Mate XTS Ultimate are already shaping what that future might look like. With that said, do consider subscribing to ZaidiEsTech for more comparisons like this one, and don't forget to turn on post notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a hype to support, and also like the video. This is Zaidi, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, take care, and peace out.